We are just 4 minutes to midnight, and I'm going to do the final reaction before I sleep, because today I really had a tough day and I had a target that I had to meet. So guys, today you understand that we have finally had the burial of Albert OJWANG, the blogger who actually led to the first protests before the 25th protests. So if you have been watching on the news, my interest was in the politicians, because so many of them, you know, had all their, their day spent in Homa Bay today. So I had to really check through the statements which were passed across by different leaders. And I started by the governor, Wanga, the governor of Homa Bay. I wanted to know what she said in this funeral. And I understand that she was forced to stop speaking because the Gen Zs did not want to listen to her before they listened to Babu. So let's maybe begin from there. But of course it was so disheartening, especially when you look at the widow, the statement she gave, and I'll be showing it here. So just a quick, political rally through what happened on this day.
Jana kazi, mzazi anaamka asubuhi mapema, anaenda kuuza mboga. Kijana anaendesha bodaboda, baba anaenda kwenye mjengo, mama anaenda kulimia watu shamba. Anafanya haya yote ili aelimishe mtoto wake. Na siku ya leo nataka nipeane heshima yangu kwa baba Mesha, ambaye kazi ambaye alifanya for over 24 years ni kugonga mawe, kugonga kokoto ili aelimishe kijana wetu ambaye siku ya leo amelala hapa kwa sanduku. Na kijana anafanya haya yote, baba anafanya haya yote, mzazi anafanya haya yote ili aelimishe mtoto wake, ili alete chakula nyumbani. Kisha mtoto akishapewa elimu, unarudishia huyo mtoto kwa sanduku ya maiti. Ni ungwana, si ungwana? Tunahuzunika sana kwa sababu polisi wanafaa to protect life and property, lakini polisi ndiye anachukua maisha ya wananchi wa Kenya. Tunakemea hili jambo sana, na tunasema ya kwamba polisi yeyote ambaye alihusika katika kifo cha Albert OJWANG lazima ashikwe, lazima apelekwe kotini, lazima afungwe maisha.
So guys, that is the first statement that I had to gather here. Remember, Babu Owino is a very fundamental politician in Kenya, and he's in Nairobi, of course. He is currently the MP of Embakasi, and he's longing to have a bigger seat, possibly the governor's seat. And he will be very fundamental in the next election to determine maybe the next person. Sonny DJ, hi. Guyana Galando, hi. Lilian Adamo, hi. Maybe you can give me likes. I saw Lily Ademu gave already. Guyana Galando, you can give yours. And Sonny DJ, thank you for coming on board. I'm doing the last live stream for today because I really had a lot to do, but I didn't have time because of so many things that I was pursuing. So thank you for coming on board and show me love by actually giving likes and settling here, giving your comments too on the topic that is for. You can remind me of other statements that people gave during that funeral, because it's a very prominent funeral that will stay in our history based on what happened and based on the demands we want. So let's get to the next statement here. And the next statement will be coming from Millie Ojambo. Millie Ojambo will be the next, the bad girl. So let me play it again, because this was a very important day. When we look at the extrajudicial killing, it becomes a thing that will never leave our history. Remember, apart from OJWANG, the mask man also had to die, and so many other people. So it's our plea that things should change. Now you've heard Babu Owino demanding for justice. And of course we understand why he's saying so. People feel like some of those who are involved directly in the killing were not jailed. So we hope that maybe justice will be observed so that anybody involved will actually be brought to books. Let's listen to Millie Ojambo and see what she had to say. So thank you, Lily Adame, Guyana Galando, Sony DJ. Let's get to see Millie Ojambo here.
But I want to tell you another thing. Dress well. We eat well. We are a proud people. And we have no apologies. But I want to tell you another thing about laws that you cannot take from us. What is in our... We are a just people. We stand for justice. Whether we are in government or also government. So I want to tell you, you who is trying to purport to teach us to be what we are, to be just in and out of government. Nobody will warn us this is the time to be just. We have been fighting for justice for the whole country since independence. Then you are purporting to give us a lecture on justice. Justice is in the DNA of Ajaluo. You don't need to tell us.
Okay, so of course that statement from Millie Ojambo is very heavy. I'm not very sure whether he was trying to, she was trying to blame Matiang or whether she was just asking for justice. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can help me understand if you really understand what she was saying. As far as she was calling for justice, she kept seeming like someone else is demanding for it, and yet they, the Luos, should be doing it. So that was a tough statement, right? Let's get to another different person who gave a different statement here. Political, that is. Advancements. Advancements.
He loved music. He loved music. And Bwana Ojiro, huyu ni activist na pia ni Gen Z. Huyu mtu amekuwa ni mtu wa kipekee katika maisha yangu. Kama mnafahamu Nairobi nilipoenda, mimi si mwenyeji wa Nairobi, lakini I want to thank all Kenyans who are able to share that news. All Africa, IMLO, Defenders Coalition, KNCHR, Social Justice Centers, KHRC.
Now, of course, in this funeral, the most breaking or tough statement came from the widow. Let me see this.
The Son and that of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, so guys, as we go by this, it might be, you know, tough to get the specific minutes, but I'm trying so much to just get the specific minutes so that we don't spend a lot of time listening to everything, but listen to the specific statement that we got here. So let me get this. And maybe if you actually watched that funeral, you can help in getting the particular parts I'm looking for. Because sometimes it can be tough seeking one thing after the other. And of course, remember in that funeral, the police were around. Remember there was the torching down of Mawego police station just a day before. Yeah. So everything was like a mix, with a lot of demands, but at the same time, yeah, here it is. Here it is.
Since way back, I met him in 20. He was conserved but courageous. I don't know if he's hearing, but so I don't want to be weak. I want to be strong and here because most of them looked up to him. So I want this and the mom, the dad, and even other people that are not here because most of them looked up to him. So I want these people to look up to me. So I don't want to be weak. I want to be strong. And Albert, I love you so much. I don't know if he's hearing, but I want him to know that he means so much to me. Even if he's lying here, I truly love him and I'll always do. I'll always be here for mom, for dad, for G, for grandma, for your uncles, for everyone. I'll always love them the way you did. And thank you. Thank you for the little time that we shared. I just pray that God gives me that strength and the peace of mind that everybody wants. And lastly, I'll want to talk to the police and even those people that are in charge of taking care of us. I wouldn't wish to see anybody or any parent, any wife, any son, any daughter going through whatever we are going through. So I like to urge them to treat everyone perfectly, even if they are not their relatives, even if they are people that they don't know. Let them take the right channel. Let them deal with everyone in the very best way. And may God protect all of us. I pray that other people that are not here, love you, see you soon. So seeing him was in Central Police Station.
Yeah, so those were the breaking moments with the wife of OJWANG actually giving the eulogy that was most emotional. And I know that as you watch, maybe you might even cry. But the reality is that the wife showed true love and she really asked the police to act with a reason, be reasonable and be just. She also remembered the past moment when she talked to Albert and what actually happened. She was so strong, she did not want to break down because, of course, she's the only pillar now left in the family, given that the family did not have any other child apart from Albert. So let's listen to this part, actually.
In my everything, when we last talked, when he was in Central Police Station, I think I'm the last person he talked to. And his last words were, I love you, see you soon. So seeing him soon here or even in the mortuary it really broke me. But he has always told me to be courageous. So I just want to stand strong for the sake of our son, the mom, the dad, and even other people that are not here.
Yeah, so
because most of them looked up to him. So
remember, most times when a woman is married to somebody political or people who fight for rights or even the police and all that, they have to be tough. Because anytime you might lose this person, and sometimes these people prepare you. They tell you to be strong so that whenever something happens, you will be there for their family and their kids. So we really pray that the widow to Albert OJWANG has that resilience to stand the storm that had to prematurely snatch away the beloved one from her and leave her as young as she is, but as cold as she will be before maybe time chooses whichever other way. Yeah, so that was another tough moment during that funeral, and a strong statement that I hope the police will actually pick. Now let's look at the father also. There was also a tough statement from the father, which really showed the aspect that, as many people were really saying that he's not the biological father, you know, claiming that he was selling the son after death. The reality is that whether you bore the child as biological or whatever it is, it's actually a very bitter moment to lose one. So let's listen at his statement here briefly before we get to another moment.
Tokea azaliwe akiwa na kitu ndani yake. Hiyo ilinigharimu kusema ya kwamba sitabaki nyumbani, nitatoka kwenda kumtafutia ili tufanye bidii pamoja na mama yake, tuone atasoma na kufikia mahali pa kutusaidia. Mheshimiwa Gavana ambaye amesimama nami tokea muda huo, sasa yuko pamoja nami hapa, naomba nichukue kama kukutolea shukrani kubwa pamoja na mbunge wetu Daktari Women Rep ambao hamwezi kuwajua kwa majina, wametupigia simu na wamesaidia pia pamoja na kuchanga harambee pasipo kulala kama majirani, fursa hii kumpatia mke wa marehemu nafasi ya kuongea.
Now you realize that people did not want his father to speak a lot, maybe possibly because of so much appreciation he was giving to the government. So the statement here was communicated by the citizens, you know, like rejecting the aspect of the father talking here. Now let's get to the fact that Pwani University students had to ban one Luo politician from mourning, you know. Let's just see here.
We urge you to all come in. We will do it in an organized way with some decorum in respect of our befallen hero, Albert Omondi Ojwang. Karibuni sana. Comrades. Organization. Relax. You can't kill us and limit us. Please. Now, we will do it in a more civilized way. From one wise man by the name Kennedy Owaga will also say something, then we just...
Mano, I would want to send this strong message to the working government. They told us that there are no wards in Homa Bay, and our brother had to travel all the way to Nairobi to hit his head on a wall, a police cell. So we are planning a day to the police, and we are going to hit our heads on the wall until that justice shall be found. Comrades power! Comrades power! For 99 times the actual death. We are not going to sit down and see us die. Comrades power! They might kill some of us, but they cannot kill us all. Comrades power! Allow me invite Abner here, who will be taking us over. Before then, let me introduce Weissman Dome, who will be introducing the president. Welcome, Mr. Kennedy.
Comrades power! We are not going to rest until justice is done. And remember, we are soon celebrating Sabasaba. We will do Sabasaba for Albert Ojwang. And I want us to come here. Comrades power! Comrades Triesi! Comrades Triesi!
I want to remember Albert, a comrade that we knew.
So you realize that those were our comrades, of course, from Pwani University. Remember, he was a bit of studying from Pwani University. You know, people finish university, but they pursue more. And so when they came, they had to demand that he should not just sleep. They'll deal with the fact. And the pain is too much, you know, and they will fight for justice. They send a message of Sabasaba that is forthcoming. And this, indeed, it's wallahi a strong message, a strong statement for that case. Now, again, when Gladys Wanga stood, let's see that when Gladys Wanga, the governor of the place, stood, a strong message was sent by the noise the mourners made in this funeral. So if you read this message, then you understand what I'm talking about. Let me play it again.
As the governor of Homa Bay, to come here as a mother and the mother of a son, and took Albert, and he hadn't even eaten his ugali, which you had given him. He hadn't eaten his ugali. You wished, you insisted that he eats. Who are you? What are you? Who the hell are you? Do you know me? So today we say Pole Sana. And my message, my message, my message, my message, my message, my message. First, before I give my message, I want to bring you the condolences, Baba, of Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, who was meant to be here with us today. But due to other things which he couldn't avoid, he wasn't able to come. Just Baba or Mos, Baba. I also bring you, I also follow up to see that they are actually charged with murder and they are convicted to.
So at the end of the day, you realize that Gladys Wanga had to adhere to what the youth want. You know, as she tried to deliver the message of Ruto's message of condolence. And remember, Ruto missing this event, Raila missing this event means a lot. And people are like, don't mention Ruto here. Ruto must go, you know. A very strong message or statement sent there, right? And everybody in the funeral, as you can see, they were calling for justice. Yeah. So Raila seems to have been ashamed or feared the kind of response he will receive from here and what it will mean to his political aspect. We also realized that it was also possible that Ruto did not come because he knew the kind of response the citizens could give now that they had even torched down the police station of Mawego. We also saw that when Millicent Odhiambo stood, she was erupting with anger, you know. And which other? As we saw there, the teams of Obina, for example, standing with the father to Albert. And many parents there mourning this. Let's just look at the final burial part. It was a very sad moment indeed. I think I have that already somewhere. Here.
although the Bible tells me that in the end times we shall witness what we are witnessing today. But I want to say and join all Kenyans, including the president, no abduction is needed in a peaceful country like Kenya. I want to say that the police must exercise restraint and at the same time.
Yeah, so you've heard that. Of course, that is one of the leaders who sometimes stands with the government. But you saw in that moment, she had again to demand justice. And there was this final burial moment that I'm looking for that was quite a statement on its own, an emotional one for that case. Yeah, so the final moment, of course, as we look at this, was a very terrible one. And as I've shared here, the statements that were passed during that burial are very strong. And we hope that indeed, at the end of the day, nothing of that sort will be repeated at any other place, you know. So let's see this.
Because it shows it brings some emptiness in life. Quiet to hear from the family. Is that good? And before we listen to the family, I want us to sing. Flowers,
Yeah, so as we end, this was what happened finally. Of course, there was some sort of commotion. Then this was the final one.
Babao.
in low.
Yeah, so of course, if you watched, you've seen the heavy statements here. And of course, there was one guest who came as a surprise here, who arrived with a dressed donkey. That is Tumbili.
Habari zenu waombolezaji wote.
Amboso jo kuyo luto.
Vijana wenzangu ambao mko hapa, habari zenu.
That was Tumbili. Tumbili came with a donkey. Whatever message he was trying to pass, I'm not so sure. Because of course he is a content creator. I don't know whether that was to focus towards that. Yeah. Or whatever statement he was trying to pass was not very clear to me. And finally, they led him to rest. But those statements passed there were a strong message. And we hope that maybe Kenya will sanitize itself and become a better place, because very many are demanding for the arrest of Eliud Lagat because they feel he was the complainant. And why is he still free up to now? According to many, he should be arrested and jailed because he was the main complainant, and there is no way he should escape when he is the one who sent the police to arrest. So it's not very clear why then others were arrested and he was spared, you know. So thank you for coming on board, and for those who will watch later, subscribe to my channel to support me, and also share my videos, like. Thank you and have a good night. Let me rest so that tomorrow I can have energy to move on. Bye bye.